Good evening and welcome to Between the Lanes episode number 118. I'm Ron.
I'm Shane.
And we are here to talk slot cars. Again, welcome to Between the Lanes episode number 118. You can find us on YouTube. Slot Racer is the channel. Find us on Facebook. The page is Between the Lanes. Race results. The winning report. SCRRA, Southern California Retro Racing Association at Buena Park Raceway in Buena Park, California last weekend. In the F1 race on the flat track, Mil Conroy was the winner. Sam Rackham was second, and Gary Donahoe was third. In the Can-Am race, Brian Warmack was the winner. Mil Conroy second, and Sam Rackham in third. Buckeye Retro Series was at HMS Speedway, Bellevue, Ohio. In the Can-Am class, Eric Shirey was the winner. Bud Bardo second, Cap Henry third. Formula One, it was Eric Shirey winning again. Al Rudy second, Steve Pepler third. Retro Flexi, Eric Shirey, the winner, pulled off the sweep. Tim Batts in second, and Bud Bardos in third. The Fall Brawl was at Speed Zone in Mount Holly, New Jersey. They had a couple of, a couple of extra races, but they ran GT Coupes on their flat track on Thursday, I believe it was. Wes Pacunis was the winner. Mike Isles was second. Howie Yersener was third. And then in the Can-Am Plus class, John Gorski was the winner. Keith Libby in second. Dominic Luongo in third. Retro Pro, Matt Bruce was the winner, followed by Doc Doherty, and then John Gorski in third. Stock car class, I believe they ran it on the King. Jerry Herbert Jr. was your winner. Jimmy Williams was second. Keith Libby third. GTC FK, which would have been on the Engelman. Had to think a minute. Vinny Cafazzo was your winner. John Mattis was second. Richie Thyssen was third. GTC Pro, Danny Zona from Florida was the winner. Jerry Jr. second, and Keith Libby in third. Formula One on the King track, Jimmy Williams winning. Dale Yamashita from California in second, and Chevy in third. Can-Am had Duran Trujillo winning from California again, with Keith Libby second, and Jerry Jr. in third. And the overall brawl champion, heavyweight champion, Gary Herbert Jr. So congratulations to all. And good job to Gary Jr. That's not an easy feat to pull off winning that overall championship at the Fall Brawl. Mad Fast was at the Slot Car Track Concord, and Shane Parent was there and in person. In the trucks class, Walker McNulty was your winner, Guy Spalding second, and Shane in third. 4.5 inch scale, Bobby Beachman was your winner, Guy Spalding second, Shane third again. And I kept thinking, okay, so in DTM, Walker wins, Russ Martin second, Shane's third again. Like how many are we having one day? And in GTP, throws it off.
Yes.
The win over over Bobby Beachman, and then Russ Martin third. Congratulations there. You went from kind of being zero to hero there.
Yeah, I figured it out finally. The last race.
The last race?
Yeah.
Well,
that was just funny because everyone was like, "Where'd that car come from?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "You didn't practice that one much," and I was like, "I practiced it earlier, and it was good."
So you ran trucks on the Cobra and GTP on the Cobra?
Yes.
And DTM?
Trucks on the Cobra and 4.5 inch NASCAR on the Cobra. DTM and GTP were on the flat track.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. DTM, for me to finish third in DTM, that was pure luck because the car, it wasn't good.
Okay. But the GTP car was good.
GTP car was hooked up from green to checkers.
And you ran Phoenix motors in all the classes, right?
Yes.
That has to be a blast running nose on the MTT.
Really, we run 12s on them, or I ran a 12-35 gear ratio. And it wasn't bad, I
Okay.
don't know. I mean, my motor could have been a little softer than some others. Car was really good. The car made me look like I knew what I was doing when I was just kind of just there.
Sure.
So, Bobby made the comment in one turn. He would slow down to make the turn, and he was like, I would just, whoop, and he was like, all right, well, maybe I don't need to slow down that much,
Right.
and I was just like, yeah, the week before up at Rogers, I got some tires from Roger. He wanted me to try. They were screaming, get cars and tech. And I was like, I want to try these tires right quick. Then I'm going into tech because the car was good. And then I put those tires on there and it was just better. And I was like, yeah, this right here is what I want.
Okay. The Pro Slot Phaser Hard Body Series was at Pro Slot. Hobby Stock, Dave Garino was your winner. Dick Soul was second. Rick Stegan in third. Super Stock, same podium. Dave, Dick, and Rick. Then in Pony Stock, Rick Stegan pulled off the win. Dave Garino was second. Dick Soul was third. So it was the same three guys on the podium there. Midwest Spec was at Whiskers. In the Bombers class, it was Jason Plummer winning, I think his 8th or 9th in a row in that series. Mark Baker.
The one that they need to put a bounty on?
They might have to.
Didn't we talk about that last show?
I think so. Or last time he won, because I think it was 7 in a row or 8. Gotcha. Mark Baker was second. PJ Baltz was third. Dirt Late Models had Jeff Strauss winning, Toby Kindig in second, Ed Riddle in third. The Legends Womp class, Randy Lynn was the winner, Jason Plummer second, PJ Baltz in third. Spec Indy, Toby Kindig was the winner, Jeff Strauss second, and Mark Baker in third. And Phoenix GTP, Tony Kindig was the winner, Dave Fugate second, Randy Lynn third. And then we go to Florida Slot Car Series. They were at P1 Raceway, Winter Garden, Florida. And in the NASCAR overall, A-Main and overall top 3 was Marcus Ramos first, Dale King second, Brian Ambrose third. In the LMP, A-Main and top 3 overall was Dennis DeMol, Marcus Ramos second, Dale King third. And then in DTM, Marcus was the winner, Dale was second, and Ralph Josie was third. So, winner, chicken dinner. But I want to go back to but we'll go to this later. Okay, we'll just move right along.
Sunday.
Okay.
Caught me off guard.
You should always remember, right after that, we go.
I knew that, but it was like I didn't know which way you were going. Then it was on the screen.
Okay. So this Sunday, we've got Mid-South Concord, which Shane will be there.
Yes.
The F2000 wing cars are at Alpha Raceway. New England Retro Racing is at Modelville. The Gator Retro Racing Region is at Melbourne, Florida. The USCA Nationals is at Mid-America Bloomington. Penn Jersey is at Speed Zone, and the Penn Ohio Retro Series is at Washington, Pennsylvania. Next weekend, we got OCC at Downriver, ORS at HMS, Retro East at Port Jeff, Central Illinois Slot Series at Mid-America Bloomington. The last weekend of November, which is Thanksgiving weekend, Shinoda Reunion at Downriver Speedway, Michigan, and we have the hard bodies at Phaser Raceway. So,
do you have another race too to add? November 30th, Turn and Burn. They're doing like their Thanksgiving turkey race. It's a money race.
Turn and Burn. Okay, so
don't have all the details.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of turkey races posted in the last few days.
Yeah.
And it's hard to kind of keep up with. I know that there's turkey drag races and turkey nats and turkey.
Yep.
So gobble, gobble, gobble.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this weekend is also the kickoff of the Kids Race Series that B&E Slot Sports is sponsoring and putting on, supplying cars and controllers for kids ages 5 to 12 in the super late model IROC class. They also run B&E dirt late models on the oval, all ages, your equipment, and then the last race will be 124th GT, one on LTD, all ages, your equipment. So it'll be interesting to see how many kids they have this weekend. So we'll be keeping an eye on that and bring that up for next week show. New products, RGO Products has released a 4.5-inch hard body chassis. You have to get a hold of. If you're on Facebook, just go to the RGO projects page and you can find out more information. I know this is like 50,000 thick brass, and there's been some changes made from maybe a previous version of this, but the latest and greatest is out there. New raceways. So Luke's in Waynesboro, Virginia has, well, it's been a hobby store for a while, from what I can gather, and they just recently added a drag strip. So there's a new drag strip in the Luke's Hobby Store. Lucas Harmon is the owner. He's pictured there on the left with his lovely wife and young daughter. Staunton Miniature Speedway is back in operation in Staunton, Virginia. From what I can tell, it's the same tracks, the King, the Oval. I don't know if he had drag strip, didn't he?
I guess I never went to that race.
Okay, I thought, yeah, okay. So
yeah
I think
it was on the books and it was off the books, and then
okay. Well, you can go to Facebook and more information about the reopening of Staunton Miniature Speedway. And then Mach 1 in, I didn't write down. I know it's in Virginia. Sorry.
I thought it was in Tennessee.
No. This one's this is Mimi's
right.
old King track. I think it's G7, I think. But yeah, this was a picture they put on Facebook that they had put the first coat of epoxy on, and they had to wait a few hours before they could put the second coat on. I haven't seen any more updates, but it's alive, as they would say. So it's coming together.
Looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. They did a lot of work sanding.
Yeah, because I've shared
Right.
messages back and forth with the owner. That's definitely on the agenda for a road trip to go check it out.
Yeah, bucket list. And then down in Newport, Tennessee, we have a new raceway opening. It'll be called Pit Pass Raceway. They're not quite open yet. Chad told me it would be a couple more weeks, probably. Like this was a couple days ago. 2 more weeks, they should definitely be open. They have a 170-foot Ogilvy King track. And along with that, they have a tri-oval track and a drag strip. And I asked him, try to find out more information from him on the King track, because I know that Steve Ogilvy built a 165-foot King track that was in Pennsylvania many years ago. Rick Bernardo purchased that track, moved it to Pittsburgh with Butler, and that's where we had the 1998 USRA National Championships. It was on the 165-foot King, and then he sold it, and then it wound up at HMS at Kit and Cap Henry's, and it was shortened to 155-foot, and we raced on it up there for a few years, and then the American King came in there, and then that track was sold to someone in Michigan, in the Detroit area. So I never knew that Ogilvy built 2 King tracks that were larger than 155 foot. So going to ask our listeners and viewers, if you know anything about this track, we would like to know where it might have originally been and maybe what years. And
the only thing looking at it now, just because of how the dead man and the finger is shaped,
right,
it kind of to me looks like the track that used to be in Anderson, South Carolina, that we had the Nats on.
Well, that track was 155 foot.
Was it? Okay, then. Yeah, because it kind of has that. I'm just trying to think because it looks familiar, but it's a King, so they kind of all look familiar, you know.
Right. So the current owner said that he got the track out of North Carolina, but he was also told originally it came from Pennsylvania. So I don't know that it was ever set up in North Carolina. I mean, someone could have bought it and put it in storage and then never did anything with it.
Yeah, because Garland Brown had a King that I think he. See, that's the other thing too. Is did they refurb that, or was it in that condition? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking this is in the condition that they got it.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think the new current owner has done anything.
Anything to it
together and. So.
Yeah, because I know we were talking pre-show, and it's like it's been a long week, so I'm not exactly 100% on thinking, but I don't recall anyone really with a King track in good condition to buy and set up, you know, without putting a little TLC into it.
Sure.
But it does look nice. I like it.
Yep. So they got that in the tri-oval. Nice, clean looking store. So, but they should be up and running here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll keep you posted. And before we go, so if anyone didn't notice yesterday that on Facebook there is an ISRA 2020 page. So if you type in ISRA 2020 in your search bar, you should find the new ISRA page for the 2020 ISRA World Championships. You can like that page, follow that page. And then I don't know if it was last week or the week before, we talked about going on your cell phone, pulling up Google Maps and searching for smart contracts. So that was part of the discussion that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But if you go, to Google and you Google, how do I get my business to show up on maps, it'll give you the link that you can go and put your raceway on Google Maps, and then you should start showing up in people's searches, both on Google as well as Google Maps. Because me and Glenn was kind of discussing that, and I was showing him, I take a screenshot of what my
I've seen that
now search, and then I forget what the second search was now, but that showed different tracks and more tracks.
Right.
But I mean, I have 9 tracks within 150 miles of me. In both searches, only a couple showed up. So, again, free promotional tool for raceways to use to be found easier. I mean, like I guess if I was driving somewhere I had never been before.
Right.
Again, I know where most of the tracks are.
Right.
But here's another example. Like, also in Tennessee, there was a raceway that just recently closed called Tennessee Valley Speedway. Okay, they weren't listed over at the slot blog in the raceway listings.
Right.
I never seen anything about it on Facebook, but when I went to a page and I seen it, but they've closed, or they're temporarily closed. But I don't know how long they've been open, but I had never seen or heard anything about them.
Yeah.
Until they were closed. I mean, their page is still up. You can go to Tennessee Valley Speedway on Facebook and bring that page up. And they had kind of like a reverse orange, no S's, kind of like the perfect low test track, as I always say.
Right.
It's like, wow, it'd be cool to go race on. So, there you go. So, Flexipalooza 2020, April 17th and 18th, Downriver Speedway. That is the latest on that. So,
gotcha.
You can see information and more details on that. I mean, as far as I know, it's going to be a typical Flexipalooza. We're going to go back to Downriver where we had the first one. It'll be the weekend of April 17th and 18th. So, Other than that, okay, so another cool thing, and I forgot to, because I took pictures of it and I forgot to upload them. If you have an Apple iPhone in the App Store, and because I don't have the photo and I lost the photo, there is an app for a lap counter. Okay, so like you download it, you put it on your computer, and like you would hold your phone above the track,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll time the laps for 4 lanes. You can set it for 2, 3, 4 lanes, I think, or maybe even just 1 lane. And Tim Bates showed me that this weekend at HMS, and he went over and held it over the track, and the times on the phone was mirroring what was on Lapmaster. So if you have a home track or something, you can very easily get a free lap counter if you have an iPhone. And I look for that app on Android, Google Play Store. No,
Yeah, because you got Android, right?
yeah, no dice.
Yeah, 'cause me and you got the same phone, so I was like, yeah.
But I can't remember the name of the actual name, but it was lap something. And I think some guy made it basically for HO cars.
That's cool.
But it was getting the 124 Can-Am cars no problem. So.
And you said it was matching the time shown on the screen.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep, and it's a free download on iPhone. So I don't know what they call their store.
Yeah, I've always been an Android. Not whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll go back to our regular screen.
Regular viewing.
Regular viewing. So that's kind of all the notes.
Picture has been modified, so my head doesn't look as big as it really is.
So, okay, so I was going to go back. So I'm looking at the Florida slot car results, okay? So, because they run NASCAR, DTM, and LMP. And in my opinion, I don't think there's much difference between a NASCAR body and a DTM body as far as handling or downforce.
Right.
Okay. So I'm looking at their lap totals. And again, it's hard. I didn't really look at the lap times, but in the NASCAR race, they went 249 laps with a Retro Hawk motor. In DTM, they went 247 laps, 2 laps less, but they ran Hawk 7 motors. So I don't know if that meant maybe there's more crashing because those motors are faster.
Right.
Or if maybe a NASCAR with a Retro Hawk handles better than a.
One race could have been cleaner than the other race.
I know. But in LMP, they run Retro Hawk motors, and they ran 264 laps. So they ran 16 laps more than NASCAR's did with the same motor. So, and I know at the FK Flats, the LMPs went faster. The LMP bodies went faster on the same cars, same motors, same track, same everything.
Right.
The DTM bodies did. So I just thought that was interesting because I'd always wondered, like, and I've never done it, but which one's faster, a NASCAR or DTM? Same day, flip-flopping back and forth. I haven't done it, but I do know that DTM, LMP, the LMPs are faster. So that kind of. So more testing is required for whatever worthless reason. I don't know other than
another thing to put in the memory bank.
Yeah. Okay, so we did have a messaged in topic to talk about, and the topic would be forward bite. And
I had a good forward bite this weekend in my GTP car.
And thanks for sending that question in because he pointed out that we talk about forward bite a lot on the show, but what is forward bite? So, in my opinion, forward bite is the amount of launch the car has off of a turn, and that it goes straight, it has traction, and it just zooms There's no hesitation. When you come off a turn and you punch it and it goes,
Yeah.
that's forward bite. And I'm going to try and do a video of this next time I go to a race. I'm going to take.
If I would have thought about it.
I'm going to set up the camera to do slow motion.
Yeah.
And I want to run car with totally hooked up and then change tires, just put on like probably a harder tire.
Right.
So the difference where you can see it doesn't have, like if your car comes off a corner and you have any wiggle in it or any slide in it, you are losing forward motion, forward bite. You're losing momentum.
Yeah, because see, that's what I was going to say. This past weekend here, raced at Randy's, King Cobra.
Yep.
I mean, it's Phoenix Motors in a 4.5-inch car. It's a bit much, but it is what it is.
But forward bite would be very important because, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to get that car hooked up to make it go.
All right. Yeah. I mean, any horsepower you're not putting down to the track, you're losing. So it's
exactly. You're spinning your tires, you're losing time.
Yep. So got my truck, good to go. Put it in a straightaway. I think I put on the orange lane or blue lane. Jimmy Johnson, I think, was either in blue or yellow. You know, we're halfway down the straightaway, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it. We've all done it. Put our car in a straightaway, give it, pull up a little bit, look, see if anything's coming, then go.
Right.
I knew he was coming, so I pulled up a little bit so I knew it was straight. Wham! And I looked at him, and he kind of looked at me, and I was like, all right. You know, and for a minute I'm thinking, it's kind of weird, you know, and he was like, you pulled up, didn't you? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I thought you did. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I guess I'm still fishtailing. And I'm like, that's not good.
Well,
you know?
Right. I mean, he got a little slideways and.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand it was a truck body, but it's like, yeah. And then during the race, I turned Marshall the donut so you can get a direct view.
Right.
You can see him coming off just doing that. And I'm like, yep. I was like, that's what happened in the truck race. He probably came off that corner sideways and accelerate doing this dimmer, and he fishtailed and caught me just right, you know, because he even made the comment. He was like, well, I guess if I hit your truck where I hit it, those aren't the right tires. And I was like, yeah, I don't think they are, you know.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Like, there's been people that's posted up some videos in the past on Facebook where they've been focused on a donut or a turn, and they've done it slow motion, like fast motion to slow motion.
Yeah.
Well, fast motion, you think the cars look hooked up.
Yeah.
But when they're in slow motion,
break it down.
Oh my God, it's hard. I mean, it's like, I'm like, all the cars are doing that, so everybody's doing it, but you don't realize it because it's so fast.
Yeah. You're right.
So
we've actually tuned cars. We've tuned one of Bobby's cars before at a track. We couldn't figure out what was going on with it, and I was like, my phone's got slow motion.
Right.
Come through here. Did a couple things and went back, you know, went back in the hauler, went back in the room and had a driver's meeting and viewed it. And like, yeah, you're loose, you know?
Right. So, like, if you're running 4.5-inch cars or you're running retro cars or any type of car that you have to run on the front tires have to touch and roll.
Right.
That can greatly affect your forward bite. Because if your front tires are biting too much or digging in too much,
right,
you can actually be binding the car up. The car wants to go, but the front tires won't allow it because
so into the track.
You can Google forward bite, and it'll take you to a bunch of RC sites, and it'll talk about forward bite. And you know, and RC cars are different than slot cars, but you can still learn from what you're going to read there, because they always talk about changing your tire hardness, because it's like changing springs or shock.
Yeah.
Your rate of return and everything. It's like the same. It's similar.
Right.
We'll talk about setting up front ends on RC cars, which have no bearing on a slot car.
Yeah.
We don't have. So if you're on a flexi car and you're dragging the front down on the track too much, that's going to affect your forward bite. as well as it could affect your side bite and your bite going into a torn. I mean, you fix one end of the car, you might whack out the other end of the car.
Right.
You got to find a happy medium. So for me, if I'm looking for more forward bite, I generally just change tires. And if you need more bite, usually you need a softer tire.
Right.
And sometimes people say, well, the softer tires slow down the straightaway through the bank. Well, if you put them on your car and you go faster overall lap time, that's what you're looking for.
Right.
And if your car is hooked up and doesn't slide or slide to cause you to come off, if your car is more hooked up and more bolted,
yeah,
that's the better way to go.
Right.
And some people just don't, I guess, understand that or get it or understand the concept.
Yeah. I mean, you know, just as well as I know, and everyone else probably knows, there's a fine line.
Yeah.
You know, because then you can go too soft and then you're tight.
Right.
You know, and it's
Now
like,
you're
okay,
tipping out.
you know, yeah, are you
Right.
tipping out?
Or you're
You know?
stuttering a little bit
Yeah.
when you want to come off the corner.
You know, and it's just, me and Bobby has had this conversation before, and our opinion, my opinion, his opinion, tires are probably one of the key factor of a car, because it's, you know, that's how you get your power down.
Right.
You know?
Oh, you can have the fastest motor.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're spinning your tires, you're going nowhere. You got to hook up your horsepower.
Then it's one of those deals, okay, I keep going softer, keep going softer, keep going softer. The car's getting faster to straighten out.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you went too soft, and now it's catching and pulling the front out. And it's like, all right, well then, you know.
Right. Yep. Testing.
Like anything else.
Testing.
There's a fine line between this is good, this is too much, this isn't enough.
Yeah, and then there's times where if it's a bigger race where you're going to run 3 or 4 heats,
right,
you know that the track is going to get more stuck.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to run that little bit looser tire, qualify, take your lumps, so you know you're hooked up for the race. If you're racing where you can't change your tires and stuff after you,
right,
you know, so if it's no tire changes, sometimes you kind of got to roll the dice.
Yeah.
Go with your gut feeling and your knowledge and what you think's going to happen, and hope that it happens that way. I mean, I always go for I want to hook up. So sometimes I may go a little
from the get-go. You want to hook up?
Yeah, I want to hook up in qualifying, and I may be overhooked by the time my race comes, but I always know I can snip my tires a little bit,
right,
and loosen the car up or free it up if I need to.
Right.
Versus if you put a tire on that's loose and the track never tightens up, you're going to be loose.
I mean, the only thing you can do is that tape.
Yeah, like I always say, if you can't change your tires, if you start loose and the track goes loose or looser, you're screwed because you're going to be loose the whole time.
Right.
So it's better to err on the side of being hooked up and trimming your tires in between heats to get your car freed up if you need that.
You know, that's the other thing.
You can cut traction off.
Right. But you can't add it.
But you can't. Right.
You know, and then they have the traction controls and stuff like that now on controllers, which are nice and they do help. But people don't realize that traction control slows the car down because there's a reason why your car is now getting more traction.
Right.
You know?
Yep. And the guy that can put down the horsepower and hook it up faster than the next guy,
right,
is going to yank you down the straightaway every time.
Yep.
Because that's a whole other thing. When you come on straightaway, to be fast at the end of the straightaway, you got to carry a lot of speed and keep it going. If you get up top turning, you got to kind of stop and wait before you can go, and the other guy can come around there and just punch it halfway through the turn where you got to wait till you're almost straight. He's going to kill you every time down the straightaway. Then everybody says, well, I wish I had his motor. It's not his motor. He's hooked up.
He just got bite.
Right. Right. I mean, I'll tell you a good example would be to test forward bite would be go to a drag strip. And then, of course, you put just put the softest tire on.
Right.
Lights come down, you punch it. car goes. Take that same car, put Wonder Rubber tires on it, and do that and see what happens.
Yeah.
Bzzz.
Yep.
And that's forward bite.
Tires are important. You know, you can go too hard, you can go too soft, and
Right.
different hub size. You know what I mean? It'll
Right.
give you more flex, and flex in a tire's bite. You know?
Yep.
That's just like some guys are like, well, how are you running a Wonder tire and getting it to hook up? It's like, because I'm running a small hub.
Right.
You know? So,
Yep.
it's just tires. We could probably do a whole show just on tires.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
someday we will. But so I hope that answered questions about what forward bite is. I would suggest.
Whereas I used to always say in big race car, 4 bites would put you in the seat. You know?
Right.
So when you're starting to lean back, you're like, yeah, this thing's digging, you know?
Yeah, right.
Long as it ain't pointing the nose one way or the other and you're coming off straight, you're
right. And then forward bite also adds to the acceleration because the more hooked up you are, the harder the motor goes and pulls. So, I mean, you get it so far down the straightaway and it, it kind of levels out. It's like when you get on the airplane, you're climbing.
Yeah.
And I always say, well, we accelerate, and when we get to halfway, you can hear them back the engines down because then you're
I always feel it feels like he's stalling because I get that weird feeling. It's like, all right, it's like, to me, it feels like we're going in reverse.
Right.
It's kind of like, all right, we must be like at that altitude now, you know?
Right. So that's forward bite. And I guess if I didn't fulfill the question or explanation, send me another message. You know who you are, and we can try and get into it more. But I will also suggest you just go on Google and Google forward bite.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of things that you can learn on Google just that can relay or transfer over.
Right, and listening to someone say something versus actually reading it and comprehending it a little bit better, and because you can reread it, and maybe you'll understand it better.
It depends on what kind of person you are. Because sometimes I can read something and I don't get it.
I'm with you.
You know, but like if I have someone explain it to me or show me a picture, it's like, oh, all right.
Right.
You know.
And sometimes you'll read it and then walk away and then the light just comes on in your head like, oh.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Shane brought up an interesting topic this week. And what was your question you posted? Or what was your post, I guess?
Well, let me think, because I've raced every week for the last 3 weeks, which isn't very common for me. It's not, you know that.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm trying to so I want to say, I forget, it may have been after the Mad Fast race. You know, Monday rolls around, Tuesday rolls around. It had to have been because I just recently posted it. And Bobby, everyone who knows me knows Bobby, you know. He mentioned to me, do you think people not show up to races because they know we're going to be there? You know what I mean? I'm just like,
well,
what do you
when
mean?
you say we.
Me and Bobby.
Okay.
You know, me and Bobby.
Okay.
You know.
In your area.
Right. And I told him, I was like, you know, I'm sure there are people because they think we can't beat them. You know, there's no way you know, and just, I read a lot of people's comments and it's just me personally, I don't like when someone says I'm not going because they're going to be there and I can't beat them, because it's like, you got to have confidence in yourself. You know, it's like I told someone this week, if everything I did in life I said I couldn't do, where would I be?
Right. Well,
you know what I mean? I know it's stock cars and it's toy cars, but it's like, you got to have a little bit of confidence in you. Anything can happen. It's racing.
Right. And okay, so I'll make a couple of comments. I've seen guys that have raced 20 years.
Right.
And never won a race.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And they have good equipment. I mean, they have capable equipment to win with.
Right.
Sometimes they have bad luck, which we all have some bad luck.
Right.
But at the same time, I think if I raced, I mean, what? Okay, so like I said, you got guys that have raced 20 years and never won a race. Why do they keep coming back? Okay? Like either they enjoy the hobby and they really don't care if they win or lose because, you know what, I'm going racing. I'm doing what I like to do. I'm having fun. Win or lose, I'm having fun.
Right.
Okay?
And at the end of it, that's what it's about.
Right. And then I've seen guys that have come in a very short time, did very well.
Right.
And then they just walk away. Like, okay, you're really good. You can win races.
Right.
Where'd you go? Why'd you quit?
Yeah.
And then you've got guys that, there's guys out there that won't go to races if they know certain people are there. And that there could be a million reasons for that. I mean, it could be, I don't like the guy.
Yeah.
I can't beat the guy. Years ago, he did something to me on the track that I just won't race with him again.
Right.
I
mean, all scenarios we've all been through.
Right. And I don't know if there's a right answer or wrong answer, but then that whole thing morphed into a whole bunch of different subjects and discussions, which is always good. But I think getting back to your thing, I mean, we're all humans. We all have different outlooks on things. Sometimes it's because we were maybe raised differently or trained differently, taught differently.
Right.
I guess my thing is I always go right. I don't care. There's no one I hate. Okay. Like there's no one I hate. Okay. So if I maybe dislike someone or I don't agree or get along with someone, that doesn't stop me from going and racing if they're going to be. I don't care.
I'm exactly the same way.
If I want to go race, I'm going racing.
Yep.
I don't care who's there, who's not there.
And then, like I think I said in one of the posts, I don't care who's there. I'll respect you. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to like each other. That's fine. You speak to me, I'll speak to you. But if I want to race, I'm going to race.
Right. I mean, you can go to the movie theater, and there's going to be people there that you don't like.
Yeah.
But is that going to – I mean, well, I'm not going to go to the movies tonight because I don't know who's going to be there. And, I know there's people that don't like being in crowds and stuff too. But that's – But – I don't know. My deal was, okay. So another thought I always have is, I think that everybody shows up at the track thinks that they can actually win. Right. Because
I've told people this whole week, there's a Mid-South race this weekend. Right. I did a lot of promoting, and I got close to 20 guys coming.
Okay.
I've talked to some of them, and I tell everyone, we haven't raced yet, so we're all winners. I know it sounds kind of cheesy or whatever,
right?
But I mean, it's the truth. We have not raced yet.
Well, see, that's always been the problem in slot car racing. There can only be one winner.
Right.
Okay? Like every race, any race, there can only be one winner. Right. As far as first place. Only one person out of 8 or 80 is going to finish first place that day.
Right.
Okay? And some people, sad to say, in life cannot handle that. Like, if I don't win, but see, here's the thing. If you're going and doing what you want to do, you're winning because you're having fun doing what you want to do.
Or it's like, I don't know if you've seen the post I post. It's on Kenny Wallace's race page. He's talking to a group of kids, and he's talking. I mean, it's basically the same thing. He said, "There's going to be one winner."
Right.
And he's like, "But there's a second place, there's a third place, and so on and so forth." And those people are racing for that position.
Well, and see, that's okay. So if I'm racing, let's say I don't care if I'm running first or second or third.
Right.
You go bad in my car. I'm going to go fix it because you know what? I want to see if I can.
Yeah. You're racing for that next position.
Right. Racing for that next position. That's right.
regardless of what position it is.
Right.
And it's like I tell people, set goals.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay, last week I went to such and such race. I turned 100 laps. Well, this week I want to turn 105.
Right.
There was a guy at my local track, knew he didn't have a chance to win, right?
Right.
Could build good stuff. His hand-eye coordination wasn't the greatest. His stuff was always perfectly built, immaculate, and fast. It's just one of those guys. You know what he focused on? He knew every week we did concourse. You want to talk about some pristine, clean-looking,
Right.
like authentic-looking painting bodies?
Right.
Because he knew I could win concourse.
Right. Right.
That's
So,
just,
and in other words, you said it was goals.
yeah.
That was something I always kind of set for myself in my early days. Like,
Right.
hey, I want to, the first goal was I want to win a race.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the first goal was I want to make the main.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the next goal was I want to win the main. Well, you're not going to win the main you're not going to win the race if you're not in the main.
Right.
So you got to get in the main.
Yep.
Okay. So, then I won this week. I want to win next week. And I want to win the following week. It's not being greedy. It's just when you win and you go back and win, like you can't improve on a win. Win is the top.
Yeah.
You can't do any better than winning. Okay. So you win, you want to go back and win again. Okay, fine. But at some point, well, now I want to be the points champion. So if you're racing where there's points,
right.
That was my next goal was I want to win a championship.
Right.
Okay. And if I win every race, I'll win the championship. But that's not going to happen. I mean, in Tri-State USRA, I think it was 87, 88 series or 86. I moved up to Group 27. I wanted to win a 27 race.
Right. Yeah.
I ran 10 races that year and never won a 27 race.
Right.
But I won the championship based on top three.
Right.
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 Yep.
Well, it's like I tell people, I started in, hang on, what year was it? 2010. 2010, I set my goal because, like you said, I won points championships. I was winning races. I was doing this, doing that. So in 2010, I went to my first Nats. And that was a goal I set, was someday I want to be a national champion.
Right.
2017, 7 years. I finally got one.
Yeah, because okay, so when again, I started, and then I went to 83 Nats a year after I started. Raced Womps, didn't even make the main.
Right.
Walked into something I didn't. They raced, no complaints. Their rules were different than what we raced. Didn't realize that what they were doing made a huge difference on that particular track.
Right.
And we got our asses handed to us. Okay. Yeah. But I always said I wanted to go back there because when in Rome, you do as Romans do. But sometimes sometimes you go to a race, different place, different track the first time. It's kind of a, like learning mission. Like you're going to go in there and see what's going on. And, when you find out what they're doing and how they're doing it, then you have to apply it and kind of play by their rules, race by their rules, whether it be actual car rules or just knowing the track or.
Yeah.
So then I didn't go back. Well, I went to the 86 Nats in Detroit. So that would have been 3 years later. And raced international. Almost made the move up to the main. Then the next year we went to Chicago, and I won 3 championships at that race. 2 championships. So, then you win one, you want to win another one, and
right. And the thing with winning,
then you're going because you have a chance of winning.
Right.
If you prep right, you have the right equipment, you know what you're getting into.
Right.
And you go there and you practice correctly and test correctly. It's putting the package together.
Yeah. And see, to me, that's part of the fun.
Right.
These last 3 weeks, I have probably worked more on racing stuff and prepping
Right.
because, I went to the Chicago, raced.
Right.
I did good. That kind of got things going.
Right.
Just raced mad fast, top three, got a win.
Wins.
And it's like
Right.
all week long. I mean, you've talked to me. I got to get ready for the next one. Got to get ready for the next, you know.
So
Last night, let's do the show. I can't. Why? I got to get caught.
right, but see, it's the same thing for the guy that's finishing sixth place. His goal is
Yeah.
okay. So like everybody wants to win, but you got to remember there's other people in between you and winning. Okay, because like I've had people say, well, if you're not going to be at the race, then I got a chance at winning. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you can't finish higher than fifth. Your problem isn't me. Your problem is the other four guys along with me that you got to beat all of us to get to first.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but if I beat you and you're the best and okay, that's fine, but you got to get to that position.
Yep.
And a lot of people, they give up.
Yeah. But,
I think, like you said, you're working, you're doing things. You're going to go to the track. If they pay off, you're going to get satisfaction from that.
Right. Every time I go to the race, yes, I want to win. There's no doubt about it. I mean, anyone who knows me knows I want to win.
Well, everybody wants to.
Right. But if something happens that I don't, I take something from that. Every race, I learn something.
Right. See,
whether
my thing
it
is,
be
like I race to win.
right.
But you know that I can't win every race.
Right.
Okay. But if I work, the old saying is you only get out of something what you put into it.
Right.
Okay. So you put everything into it or everything you think, you go to a race and someone beats you. Okay. He put more into it somehow, some way than you did.
Right.
Unless, I had bad luck is why he beat me or maybe, a lot of times, I've won races where I've beat better equipped, better prepped guys. Right. That's because they had problems.
Right.
So that happens.
And see,
no matter how hard you try,
someone's trying harder.
Well, of course, because now they're trying to beat you. Okay.
Yeah, and see, that's what I like about this hobby, the sport.
Right.
That's what motivates me is knowing, okay, I finished third. The next race, I'm gonna work harder. I'm gonna do better.
But it's no different than real racing. There can only be one first place winner. Yeah. So you go out, you do your best you can,
right?
And no one's gonna win every race every time.
No. Well, it's just like for instance, Randy. He goes live. He's watching the video. And if you watch the Mad Fast video with GTP where I won, he was kind of jokingly making fun of me saying I was taking pictures because I set fast lap in every lane and I won. And I said, I'm taking pictures because these wins don't come as easy as they used to.
Right.
So I like to take pictures to remember. And sometimes them pictures, that's motivation,
right.
for the next race.
And and I think that some of our competitors, they watch the show and they listen to what we say, and that has helped them become better racers or pay attention to certain things and maybe apply certain things, and they're learning from us, and that's a good thing. I mean,
the last 2 weeks I've been to 2 races, and Flexi Fiesta, I know of at least 3 people I helped. Right. And it was like you could see it.
Right.
That I helped them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
This last week in Mad Fast, I helped guys there.
Right.
You got a Mid-South race coming up this weekend. I've had guys messaging me,
Right.
And that was a lot of the other comments is, I'm not an open book. I'm not just going to start telling you everything,
Well,
But
I
if you come
understand.
to me and you ask me a particular question, you
Right,
know, I'm either going to tell you the answer to it or I'll tell you, I don't know.
right,
I'm not going to
right.
give you some off the wall. No.
It's that was something I was okay. So if you're at if you're a race and you're struggling, having problems, go ask the go ask a better driver, not the
Right.
best, but one of the better drivers. Maybe you can ask a good driver. Go up and ask them a question if you're having problems. If they don't want to help you, go to the next guy.
Yeah.
You're gonna find someone that's gonna want to help you. Okay.
I mean, there is honestly,
But the thing is, don't be mad at the guy that won't help you because maybe he's busy
yeah.
trying to get his thing going.
Yep.
He just doesn't have. I mean, that's like
This weekend, I had the same scenario. Charles came up to me. He's like, Shane, do you have a minute to help me? And I'm like, dude, give me a minute.
right,
I was like, I
right,
wasn't trying to be mean, but it's like, I'm in the middle of doing something here.
right. And that's where I was going because sometimes I'll be so into trying to get something figured out.
Yeah.
Can you help me? Yeah, give me 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. I need to try something
Yeah.
to know if it works or not, and then I'll run your car or
Yeah.
throw your lead wires on or whatever.
I mean, and it's like you said, run your car. Case in point, Flexi Fiesta. We're there. I was there Thursday. Dave Smirka gets there Thursday. We're running. You know what I mean?
Right,
And he was just watching my car, and I told him, I was like, well, here, run my car.
right,
You know what I mean? I was like, run my car because you know how sometimes you can run someone's car and get a feel? And I was
right.
like, and I've used that as a tuning
Well,
thing.
that's sometimes you run someone else's car and you go, "Wow, that's what my car needs to do." You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
See, I mean, I'm not talking, Dave knows because he even said
yeah,
it. That's what I need. You know what
right,
I mean? And, I helped cut bodies for him. I mean, you see me that morning. You came
right,
in. I was like, I'm cutting bodies. All right, cool.
right,
I don't mind. I think, honestly, I get more satisfaction at a race helping people and showing them that they can go faster and they have the equipment to do it. It's nothing special I'm doing. They have the stuff that they need to do what we're doing, than
right.
I do winning or setting records or anything,
Like I didn't race for about a 6 year period from
Right.
'98 to 2002 or three or whatever, or maybe a little longer than that. And I got as much or more satisfaction
Right.
going to the track and helping the guys and playing the coach and the team
Yeah.
leader and
Yep.
helping them run their cars, tell them what they needed to do, what I thought they needed to do, see if it worked for them.
Right.
Yeah, more, and I always get great satisfaction if I give a guy a backup car or something,
Mm-hmm.
and he has a super finish with it.
Right.
If I give a guy a car and he wins with it, I love it, but just don't
Right.
beat me with it. Okay, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just
Like if Flexi Flats, if you'd have been in trouble and said, "Hey, I need a car," and I said, "All right, try this,"
Yeah.
and you ran it, it was my backup car, and you beat me with it, and I got second to you, I have no problem with that. Like,
I mean, and like what you said right there, exactly. Okay, so what was it? DTM rail. Dave did good in one class where I did poorly, and what did I tell you? I still feel good
because he
because
ran good with
he
your
ran
body.
good,
Right.
and I helped him. So it's like,
Right. Right.
So and then it goes back to like we said, you can always take something from a race.
Right.
Well,
that's what I've always said. The day I go to races and I don't learn anything from going to those races, I'm
Right.
done racing. Like,
You start drag racing. That was your retirement
that's
plan.
when I can't get around the track in 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. But I mean, I do like if my stuff's good. I mean, me and you could probably go on and on. I mean, another point when we went to how do you say the town Franklintown for FNRS. Out the box, I was good, and Eric was having trouble with one of his cars, and I helped him. And it's like we knocked 3/10 off his car, and he was just like, "Wow,"
What town was this?
Franklintown, right outside of Cincinnati, for FNRS.
Middletown?
Middletown. I knew it was one of those towns.
Middletown. You always call it Middleton.
Yeah, Middletown.
To me, it's Middletown, and everybody else calls it.
Well, I was thinking of a slot car track in a town in North Carolina. I'm probably saying the name of that
Okay,
wrong,
so
but
like,
yeah, I mean,
okay, so just on that topic, real quick, in Indiana, and there's a slot car track, or there used to be, but okay, so there's a city, or maybe it's a country in South America called Peru.
right.
Okay, so in Indiana, there's a town called Peru, but a lot of locals call it Peru. Okay,
Well, it's the same.
so
I'm
it's
sure
like
every town has that.
Middleton, Peru,
Yeah.
Peru. Yeah.
So with my company, we get rebar trucks. And I always, like back when I was in charge of shipping and receiving, I always knew whenever we'd get a truckload of rebar, all these guys were going to the mill to pick up rolls of steel.
Right.
And it was always funny because I could tell when they weren't the local guys because they were like, "Hey, you know how to get to Hugger?"
Hugger?
Yeah, it's Huger. I'm like, "You mean Hugie?"
Hugie.
Hugie.
Hugie. Oh, Hugie. Okay.
Hugie. Yep. And they would start laughing. They're like, "How do you say it?" I was like, "It's Hugie." And he's like, "Well, it's spelled Hugger." I'm like, "I know." I was like, "But it's Hugie." Yep. Like I said, every town or every place.
Well, I was going to say Hugar, the way it's spelled.
Right.
To me, it would
Yep.
be Hugger if it had two G's, but
Yeah.
we're not here to discuss.
Yeah, it's a funny story.
It is
But
funny.
yeah. But yeah, it's just, and I mean, I didn't, I mean, I'm glad that the comment that I posted went the way it went. Because, sometimes you get on there and it just turns into a big bitch fest and everyone's bitch.
Well, see, I seen your question as more of why don't local racers race when the series race or a nationals or a big race comes to their local track?
Right.
Okay, not so much as to who is there. I mean, in a case, in some of the, yes, I can't beat those guys. Like they're too good. Well, you don't know that until you actually race against them.
Right.
And then when you race against them, and if they kick your butt, then you're going to learn why they're kicking your butt. And you should apply that to your racing program to improve when you race the next time, whether it be weekly, regionally, or whatever. Like,
I mean, every Friday at a big race, we go to dinner.
Right.
I'm not working on anything. You're not working on anything. We'll generally have a couple of drinks, eat, or whatever. And I tell people, if you want to learn a lot, that's where you need to go. I mean, how many times have me and you sat at the dinner table and got talking about the old times and everyone's just looking at us and wow. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it is they don't realize how much I know for the age that I am.
Right.
When me and you get to talking, because it's just like, all right, because I think we were up at Mark's.
Right.
We went out to dinner and we got to talking about something. And I remember Russ was sitting across from us and he was just like in awe, and I'm like, yeah, we've been doing this for a while,
Right. Right.
And then Uncle Bob, he's forever. Where's Shane? So, yeah, I mean, it's
Bob loves the history, that's for sure.
Yeah,
loves hearing the stories.
So, I mean, that's the thing is I have never not wanted to help someone. You know what I mean?
Right.
And stuff. So that's just, like I said, I think I get more out of helping people, because if you help someone, you make them better. That only means they're going to come back to race.
Well, if you help somebody and it works for them, it shows that it not only works for you, but it works for others as well.
Right. And then they could possibly pass the message on or pass,
Because I know years ago, and so I did a zillion things wrong. Even though I was winning races,
right,
I was still doing things wrong.
Oh, yeah. Okay? I still catch myself doing stuff like, why am I doing that?
Right. Okay, so as I went and raced elsewhere with other people and watched and learned and listened, listen's the big one.
Yep.
Listen. Listen. And it's amazing how much you'll learn by just listening to other people. Yep. And you apply it, and maybe you adjust it. A lot of it comes down to common sense.
Right.
Because sometimes people will tell you something and you're like, that doesn't work, but I'll try it.
Yeah.
And then maybe put a little twist to it, and it even works better than what it did for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or, another thing in those comments that I told people too is like, me and Bobby go back and forth about how long we've been friends and how long we've known each other, and the people have made the comments about how well Bobby's progressed over the years, and I tell them, yeah, I've helped him, but it's not all me. And they were like, well, whenever you first met him, what was it that you started showing him or teaching him? And I told him, whenever I met Bobby, for almost, I would say, 4 to 5 months of me racing with him,
Right.
and us traveling together, talking, I wouldn't do a thing for him. I would always tell him, pay attention to detail.
Right.
Well, and I was like,
yeah, and that was like racing with Randy for years. We always kind of pushed one another. And there was times that he would do things that worked for him, but he wouldn't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I never really asked him, like, at that time, what did you just do? But then there'd be sometimes he might say, go try this.
Right.
Because he tried it and knew it worked. Now you go try this.
Yep.
And see if it works for you. So, like I said, having a teammate's a good thing because you push each other.
Oh, yeah.
You bounce ideas off each other.
And it's funny you said that because it just brought back a memory at Middletown. Yeah. Bobby, well, I'm going to try these tires. I'm going to try these tires, and I'm going to try what you – and I'm like, put these tires on your car. Do not true those tires.
Well, I think I did.
I'm like, put these on your car. Don't, no more questions.
Well, I think I did the same thing with you down at Durham.
Yeah.
Like, here, put these on your car and try them.
Yeah.
You're like,
because sometimes it's just like there's no more testing. You
were like, can I run these? Yeah. I told you.
Yeah. It's just it's just.
And I mean, Ralph at one time we were at Durham and he said, "Here, try these." I put them on. It was like night and day.
I mean, Ralph did the same thing with Bobby down in Florida because Bobby was trying to figure his car out at Fast Eddie's. I think Bobby thought he was too tight. And Ralph was telling him, "Dude, you're loose," And Ralph gave Bobby some tires to try, and Bobby's like, "That's weird." And Ralph was like, "But you went faster." He's like, "The clock don't lie." And Bobby's like, "It just doesn't make sense to me." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm staying out of it because I don't know what y'all are working on, but hey, cool."
Right. Sometimes you have to prove it to yourself. So
yeah.
When there's times you tell you can make someone go faster.
Yeah.
But then they don't want to apply it for whatever reason, and they wind up going slower. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, that's episode 118 in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
just remember, help each other.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Help your fellow racers. If you see someone struggling, give them a hand.
Right.
I mean, it just.
Right. I mean, that's like, just real quick and we're going to go, but, sometimes sometimes you race with your partner and sometimes it's just easier just to like, here, run this car than to try and get their stuff going. You know what I
mean? Oh, we've both been there. We were both at that race before. It was just like, you know what? Here, here. Take this. Give me a minute.
This.
I can't do this anymore with you.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're struggling to get your car dialed in,
yeah,
and they're asking you to help them get their car dialed in, like, let me get this dialed in, apply it to my backup car, and then here, just run this car because we're out of time now.
Yeah.
I think secret word or the word of the show. Oh, you know what? We got to give away a couple things real quick.
Yeah. Sorry. We got on a roll.
It's all right. Yep. So the secret word or the word of the show is going to be, well, just 2 words. It'll be forward bite. And we're going to give away 2 ounce bottles.
You don't really have They're, I don't know if you can tell or not. They're
I think
they're
those are
that size.
1 or 2 ounce bottles. So
Yeah.
we're going to give two bottles of red rum braid juice that Gary Clinton Jr. produces. And red rum braid juice was used to win at the Fall Brawl last weekend with Vinny
I
Camacho.
used it to win with my GTP car at
So
Mad Fast.
get to win. I don't have any. Maybe I'll draw my name out. My name's not in here.
No, mine should be in there.
So the 2 winners will contact Gary Clinton Jr. direct on Facebook, and he will mail you your bottle. And the first winner is Russell Martin.
There you go. I'll let Russell know.
The second winner, does he not watch the show anymore?
Oh, yeah, he will.
The second winner is Dale Wilson. I know that guy. He's up in Indiana.
Name sounds familiar.
Um,
I'm getting to the point now where I've kind of traveled a good bit to where it's like, do I know this guy or do I not just know the name?
Right. So Dale Wilson and Russell Martin, a.k.a. Russ Martin. I don't know. What does he like to go by, Russ or Russell?
I always call him Russ.
Okay.
Along with other names, but we'll keep it rated G.
I'm going to mute Shane. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So contact Gary Clinton Jr. on Facebook for your bottles of red rum braid juice. Secret word, forward bite. This is the end of episode 118. We'll be back next week with episode 119. If you're going racing somewhere this weekend, have fun, good luck, be safe. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Okay. See you next week.
Have a good night.